Hey everyone, it's Coyote. I am making some big changes to the channel right now, and one of those is going to be trying to incorporate longer, more in-depth discussions of the things that interest me. I know in the past, I've had a habit of keeping things short and sweet, and some of my episodes will still be like that, but now that the channel is growing, I really want to put more time and energy into what I create here. Alright, so the first thing that I would like to talk about on this new and improved show is social anxiety. Literally my first ever vlog on this channel was about social anxiety. See? One of the most common things that I've heard come up in conversations when talking about folks in the fandom is something that's had a pretty big impact on my life. I'm talking about social anxiety. It's hard to believe that that was almost a year ago now. Social anxiety is something that I have struggled with my entire life. It sucks. I spend more time worrying about stuff than most people spend getting a PhD. Now, in my first video, I talked a lot about how fursuiting really helped me to address those issues and some of the things that I learned to do to help them. In today's video, I'd like to examine it from another angle, understanding what causes anxiety itself and what you can do about it. So what is anxiety? Is it that voice in the back of your head that makes you doubt everything that you do? Well, Google defines it as intense, excessive, and persistent worry and fear about everyday situations. How very technical. Thank you, Google. So what does that actually mean? Simply put, you worry a lot. Like a lot. Like you worry about every little thing. Maybe a conversation that you had with a friend a few weeks ago, or that pesky flat iron that you always think you left plugged in. Now, anxiety is a normal response to stress. Just because you experience anxiety in certain situations does not mean that it's bad or that you have something wrong with you. In fact, I would be more worried if you didn't experience anxiety at all. However, if you experience it with frequency and persistence, then you might have an imbalance going on like I did. I have a couple anxiety disorders and I do take medication for them. For the longest time, I was ashamed of this. People put a lot of weight on the idea of taking medication to help you manage something that really is just a chemical imbalance. Historically, there's been this shame associated with even admitting that you struggle with anxiety, depression, or anything else for that matter. You do not need to be ashamed. There's nothing wrong with you. So, one of the things I worked on a lot was to incrementally expose myself to situations that would be stressful for me. A lot of my stress came from social interactions, so I would try my best to engage socially in environments where I felt comfortable first, then push my comfort zone a little. Now, this doesn't fix everything. Like I said before, part of my anxiety is from a chemical imbalance, and as such, certain situations would still overwhelm me. Think like large crowds, or furry cons. The best way to describe the experience is like being in a room full of people talking, but for some reason you can't understand any of them. It's like my brain was just overloaded with everything going on around it. My husband was one of the first people to actually point out just how stressed I would get in environments like that. It would just wear me out to the point of exhaustion. That led me to speak to a therapist. I know therapists can be scary. It's just that they can help you a lot. Seriously, of all the things that I've ever done in my entire life, the one thing that helped me the most was therapy. Therapy gives you the tools to help yourself. In my case, it helped me learn to recognize some of what triggered my anxiety. For me, it was the large crowds that got me the most. Just having that awareness helped me address some of the issues. I find ways of engaging with smaller groups at cons, even if they were a part of the larger crowd. It was also at this point that my therapist recommended trying an SSRI. What is an SSRI? It is a selective serotonin reuptake inhibitor. Essentially, it is used to address some of the chemical imbalances that people experience from anxiety and depression. It is not a fix-all. It will not solve all your problems. What it will do is make some of the issues more manageable and help you address some of your anxiety and depression head on. Oh my god, that was a mouthful! If you struggle with anxiety or depression, I would try and reach out to someone that you trust and talk with them. Get that conversation going and know that you are not alone. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. Also, if you'd like to support me and my artistic endeavors, please consider donating to my Patreon. We have lots of cool perks, including early access to episodes and some fun swag. Check it out here. I hope you all have a fabulous day. Goodbye!